Hey! Hey there! Today I'm going to show you my updated build for Freyna. Freyna was one of the first Descendant ever whom I did a build for when I started doing build contents. The video might have contributed to the channel's growth a lot back then because that video was my highest viewed video that time. And because since it has been a while, and because people have requested for this a lot, I have 6 builds for you this time. This is the first build. You can absolutely go focus on Toxic to replace increased power, but that's entirely up to you. Personally, I don't see the need to get more cooldown because you have 2 spreads, first and third ability. This is especially true when you use Contagion and don't use any Transcendent modules. For the red highlighted module, you can go 2 different paths. First one is the Veteran's Tactics. This has been a module that I have been playing with a lot on my current builds. And this module somehow works with Freyna. If you've watched my video about skill resets, we know that Bravery set and Veteran's Tactics doesn't work on charged skills. So if you only have one skill on cooldown, that ability is the guaranteed reset. Freyna doesn't have an ability that have charges, but she doesn't cast her abilities as much because her abilities have spread damage. And technically, you only just need to cast your first ability to start the spread. This allows you to freely cast your fourth ability, and like any other skills with Veteran's Tactics, this gets reset after you finish shooting the final shot. The problem is that Freyna is mana hungry, and you'll notice at times, this method is also not that consistent for her because sometimes the reset catches your other abilities. There is no content out there as well that warrants the extra damage from her fourth ability all the time. Usually one cast of fourth ability eliminates the bosses and elites, and at 90% cooldown reduction, you can get it down to just 10 seconds. So this is just going to be either you want quality of life by going MP Collector instead of Veteran's Tactics, or take the extra dip on quality of life for more DPS. Now for the blue highlighted Transcendent module, you can either have nothing or Contagion. This has been a heated topic for Freyna. And all I can say is, and all I can summarize is, Contagion has better spread but lesser damage. You can go to Laboratory right now and test the DPS yourselves by using first and third ability with the same build, with and without Contagion. This is because, like I said in my previous Freyna video, using Contagion would lose you all these DOTs. If you hit the enemy with every skill you have, you will be applying 6 total DOTs excluding the toxic puddles. Contagion just make it so you only deal room 0 trauma. That's a huge DPS loss. When it comes to her fourth ability, the only way you can increase its damage further on top of the build and slay your components is to increase the magazine count. You can have a total of 94 bullets for this ability, and the only way you can shoot every ammo is to cancel the animation by rolling. Freyna's fourth ability has the long cast animation, and it already starts consuming the duration of the ability at the point of casting it. Generally, Secret Garden is the best synergy weapon for Freyna, but unique weapon abilities doesn't work on unique weapons. And the buff also disappears as this is considered as switching to another weapon. The DPS comparison with this weapon and another preferred weapon, the Nazisra's Devotion, is not too far apart. Both weapons can shoot all 94 bullets by cancelling the animation. Nazisra's just does it faster a bit. That's because Impact Weapon's Sharp Precision Shot ramps up faster than Special Weapon SPS. This causes you to empty all 94 bullets a bit faster, increasing damage per second. But then again, the DPS difference is minuscule. So again, this is all up to you if you want to be bothered by semi-building Nazistras and switching to this weapon before using fourth ability. My favorite build is this. Venom Synthesis boosts your movement speed and caps it to 1,300 with weapon cores, while still able to use the grappling cooldown on your Secret Garden. This also allows you to just move in between corridors and not bother casting any skills because the mobs will just naturally die from the puddles you leave behind. You'll see how smooth this build is on the showcase later. Because we're using Venom Synthesis, we still apply every DOTs mentioned before, but your third ability is now a buff instead of a projectile. We didn't need cooldown before because we have 2 spread projectiles, but this build, we now only have 1 spread projectile ability. So it will be worth it to use Focus on Toxic just so we can cast our first ability a lot more and compensate for mid-range spread. We can tweak the last 2 builds and go for Boss Nuking build. This allows us to eliminate every hard solo bosses in just 1 fourth ability. You have 2 free modules here, so use it to fit your playstyle. We can even have a build for groups. If you've watched my previous Freyna video, we can actually stack Passionate Sponsor and reap the 75% bonus to attack modifier when we use Toxic Simulation. We can increase our allies and our own effective hit points while gradually increasing our DPS. We can even apply this and tweak it for Group Gunner build. Because again, this at max stacks increases our weapon attack to 75% too. This buff is pretty easy to stack because you have range and it has shorter cooldown than the stack duration. As of now, there are no uses for this build, but it's a cool build nevertheless. Now you may wonder why in every build I'm using 2 range modules. That's because Freyna's max expandable range is at 300%, 50% more than most of my previous builds that doesn't require amplification control. My second favorite build is the shield build. As you can see in the background, my Freyna just doesn't die. Now obviously you'll have to become a gunner for this to work, and obviously you have to have a good weapon. Using this inversion buff, we can just roll to recover shield if need be, and this made it so we no longer need the distorted resolve component set and just use HP components with 646 stats instead of 484s. Using this inversion buff also make it so our reload is a lot shorter, similar to using reload focus, so it benefits you when using weapon that isn't reliant on weak points. If you know how to calculate your average shot, you'll know that this greatly affects a lot of weapons because this means you have lesser downtime, and less of course if you're Serena or Glay. That's it for this one guys, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye!
This is Hound action to all personnel. Void storm is intensifying. Conditions are unfavorable. Proceed with caution. Over.
Shield is damaged. Watch your... my shield. This is your brain. How was that? Shield is damaged. Shield is down. Activating toxic veil.
Descendant. We're detecting Arche life signs inside a Vulgus structure.
My shield. How was that? This is your... damn it. Melt away. My shield. Watch your feet. Damn it.
Master Corral's Descendant. I will do his bidding. I will serve the pawn.
My situation is dire. Shield is down. How was that?
Hound action to HQ.